Our next speaker is Paige Reimer. I actually do remember competing against Paige. I believe both of us did not place top three, but I remember hers, and I assume I beat her. I think I got fourth. So Paige is 17 years old. She is in the 40-mile district, which is based out at Foremost. This is her 8th year in 4-H in the short grass 4-H beef club. She is also the president of the club, as well as a key member for the 40-mile district. Paige Reimer, the house that is a home, Paige Reimer.
Hola, me llamo Oja. ¿Cómo estás? My name here in Canada is Paige, but to people in a small part of Hermosillo, Mexico, I'm known as Oja, which literally means a sheet. How did this name come about? Let me share with you my story. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A wise man from my community once said that happiness is found in serving others. I took his words to heart and have always wanted the opportunity to go on a mission trip and serve in another country. I never would have thought that this opportunity would come when I was only 16 years old. Recently, our church decided to organize a mission trip to Hermosillo, Mexico. Immediately, I said yes, not really knowing what I was getting myself into. Because of my age, I soon found out that one of my parents would have to accompany me on this trip. It was difficult because both of my parents work. But my mom offered to do the chores, so my dad was coming with me to Mexico. When people asked me where I was going and I said Hermosillo, nobody seemed to know where that was. That's because Mexico is known for its all-inclusive resorts, whereas Hermosillo is far from that. The city is located in the province of Sonora, near the west coast of Mexico. Hermosillo has a population of just under 1 million, which is a little smaller than Calgary. We would consider it to be underdeveloped compared to us, but yet most people there would consider themselves to be fairly well off. It is a beautiful town, though, that really immersed us into the true culture and language of Mexico. Our main goal of this trip was to help in the expansion of a children's home. A children's home is similar to an orphanage, except most of the kids still have parents alive. However, the children have been removed from their homes by the state, usually due to abuse. Even though the state regulates child welfare in their country, they do not provide funding for the care of these children. They rely on private sponsors and charities to fill this void. The children's home that we worked at was called Casa Hogar, which translates to the house that is a home. I found this really inspiring because these kids not only need a house to live in, but they need a family where they are cared for and are loved. During our stay, our team did construction on the home, where we updated and improved on the kitchen facilities, installed cupboards, hung doors, sewed curtains, shower curtains, and installed them. Of course, while all of this is happening, what do you do with 23 kids ages 3 to 14? Well, that's where I came in. My job was to entertain the kids. The first day at the home, we were given a tour around the facility. And pretty much the only Spanish I knew was hola, or hello. I was really surprised at how accepting the Mexican people were of us. And by that evening, I was already pushing 2 kids on a swing and another was playing with my hair. Considering how different I was from them with my blonde hair and pale skin, they seemed so comfortable around me that it was impossible not to feel the same about them. After that, I spent most of my days at the home with the kids, doing crafts, making bracelets, playing football or soccer, on the swings, and trying to learn some more Spanish. I had brought a box of crafts with me down there, and about the 3rd day, we had already done all of the crafts that I had brought. Well, the kids also loved to play the card game Uno, and by the end of the week, I basically knew all the colors and numbers in order to play. At one time, we had a big group of us playing, and I had played a card where I could choose a new color, so I said azul, which is blue in Spanish. The kids all shook their heads and said, no, azul. And I said, that's what I said, azul. And the kids all laughed again and said, no, azul. I'm getting kind of frustrated now, said, that's what I said, azul. The kids all laughed at me, shaking their heads, and said, blue. I guess I didn't really know as much Spanish as I thought I did. Now you're probably still wondering how I got the name Oja. Well, on the first Sunday, we all introduced ourselves. And when I said Paige, the pastor described what my name meant in Spanish. And instead of saying página, which means a page in Spanish, he said hoja, which, like I said, literally means a sheet or a leaf. Well, after that, the nickname kind of stuck, and I was known as Oja throughout the week. Even when I attended a youth group, I was introduced to the others as Paige, or Oja. On the second day, just after the church service, one of the youth came up to me and invited me to her birthday party that her and a bunch of other youth were celebrating at a nearby restaurant. I was slightly surprised about the invitation, but said yes. This was one of the advantages to not having my mother along on the trip, because I asked my dad if I could go, and he said, sure, just don't tell your mom. And then I jumped into a car with a bunch of strangers in a city I have never been in before. There was absolutely nothing to worry about, though, because it was one of my fondest memories from the trip. It was such a cool experience because I was truly being immersed into Mexico and never would have been given a chance if I was staying at a resort. At the party, I did try the medium and spicy hot wings, though, and could barely handle that, so I guess I'm not entirely Mexican yet. This is a picture of me on the last Saturday at the children's home. None of the kids had school that day, so we spent the majority of it playing games that were relatively easy to explain in Spanish, such as tag or hide and go seek. Here we are inside after the party watching a movie. The little boy, Miguel, who was sleeping on my lap, was one of the youngest there, and the girl sitting behind me was playing with my hair. This was one of my most eye-opening moments on the trip. Before we left, I remember my mom saying that it'll be difficult there because you don't speak the same language. But it wasn't as big of a problem as I thought it would be. Those kids were so comfortable around me that by the end of the week, and even though we didn't share the same language or culture, we still had the capability to connect over something more than just both being able to speak English and Spanish. Those kids were just bursting with love, and all they needed was someone to show that love back to them. They didn't need money or somebody to raise awareness for them. All they needed was somebody right there with them. On that same last Saturday, we were at the children's home. A group from the town came and threw a fiesta for all the kids who have birthdays in the month of February. They brought a magician, pizza, cake, and of course, a piñata. It was really amazing because I saw not only how much our group cared for them, but also people from around Hermosillo. It really showed me how cared for these kids truly are. Here's another photo of the children collecting the candy after they broke the piñata. On that Sunday before we flew out, the local church hosted a carne asada, which is basically a barbecue, where we had tacos and beans. This was another great, yet sad experience, because it was tough saying goodbye to all the people that I had become close with throughout the week. When I was saying goodbye to one of the youth from the church, she said that she didn't want me to leave because she needed somebody she could practice her English on. It was kind of nice to know that I would be missed by the people there, and made me definitely want to go back to Hermosillo and serve again at the Casa Hogar, the house that is now my second home. In James 2:15, it says, if a brother or sister is without food and clothes, and you say to them, go in peace, eat well and keep warm, but don't give them what their body needs, what good is it? These same ideas present themselves in our 4-H pledge. We pledge our hands to larger service for our club, our community, and our world. We are saying that as 4-Hers, we are to go out and help those people who need help, not just in our own communities, but around the world. I would encourage everyone who has the opportunity to serve. Like that wise old man said in my community, it will make you happy.